It's that time. It's time to make my predictions for the 2024 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix around the Jeddah Corniche circuit. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are here for another exciting round of predictions for our second round of the F1 season. This time, F1 heads to Saudi Arabia, following up a fairly dull first round in Bahrain, but we're back again. A 1 week turnaround, another early week this week, since the weekend does start on Thursday this week, and the race will be on Saturday like it was last week. Although I have to say, I can't be alone in that having a full day after the Grand Prix was actually low-key really nice. Let me know what you thought of the advanced schedule from last week and what you think of it this weekend as well, down in the comment section below. But we're going to go ahead, we're going to jump on in here. But first, go ahead, hit subscribe if you haven't already. We talk a lot about F1 as well as sim racing on the site as well. And leave a comment below what your predictions are for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. And turn on the notifications so you don't miss a single upload. We have a lot of great predictions going this week, and since it's only the second one of 2024, I'll remind you guys now and here that if you want to get involved on the predictions, head to the link below, join the Discord every week before a race weekend. I'll ask for your predictions for what's going to happen, and as we go through my predictions, you'll see along the bottom here of the video the predictions made by our community over in Discord. So if you want to jump in on the action, hit the link down below and join in. But let's go ahead, we'll kick things off with our biggest positive surprise. So kicking things off with our biggest positive surprise, and I have gone a little bit different than I think I've seen a lot of people talking about online. I think I've gone for a driver that I think was a bit of a victim of circumstance in Bahrain. I think a lot of people are down on this team in general due to their performance in Bahrain as compared to where they were hoping to be. I have gone for Fernando Alonso as my biggest positive surprise. Now, I hear what you're saying. I think most people's takeaway after Bahrain was that the Aston Martin might have been the fifth fastest car. But I think my counterpoint to that was going to be, look at the way Stroll was able to move his way back up the field after being spun by Hülkenberg in the opening lap. And when it comes to Fernando Alonso, I know he was overtaken down the stretch, but I think that's more because Aston Martin decided to make a bit of a bold strategy call, try and play for a bit of a late safety car, and left him out there on tires that had no business going to the end. And so he may have finished further down the order than he initially thought. I think we could see, with a clean weekend, a Fernando Alonso and Aston Martin resurgence a little bit from their results in Bahrain. So I have gone for Fernando Alonso masterclass. We saw him on the podium here last year. Will we see it again? Probably not, but I do think we'll see a strong weekend from Fernando. Moving on to my biggest disappointment, and I think I might have been chefing a little bit here, but it's chefing in the ethereal plane, because I picked George Russell as my biggest disappointment. We saw George turn in a pretty solid results around Bahrain, but there's just some odd vibes around Mercedes right now, obviously with a lot of the news that's come up since Bahrain finished. I think there's just a lot of odd vibes around Mercedes right now, and I think we could see a potential return back further down the order for George here around Jeddah. I'm not sure how Jeddah is going to treat the W15. We obviously saw them dealing with a lot of issues in Bahrain, and I think Jeddah is another one of those circuits that could expose these small issues, bugs in the system over at Mercedes. So I think we could see a bit of a fall of grace, if you can call it that, from round 1 to round 2 for George. Hopefully I'm wrong. I'd love to see Mercedes start battling more towards the front again, but there's just some odd vibes in the air. And so I'm sorry, George, but you are my pick for biggest disappointment this weekend. All right, here we go. Qualifying prediction time. We do our top 3 here to make it simple and give ourselves an opportunity to rank up some more juicy prediction points. Starting off with my pick for 3rd place in qualifying, I have gone for Sergio Perez. We saw Checo perform very well around Jeddah last year, and a very solid result for him in round 1 this year could see him qualify and go in with a little bit of momentum that he might have lacked a little bit towards the end of last year. So I think Checo could come in and put in a very solid result around a circuit that should treat the Red Bull, the RB20, very well. We could see a very good result for Sergio in qualifying. Moving on to P2, I have gone for, and this is under the assumption that they get the car figured out, Charles Leclerc. Obviously, Charles is one of the better qualifiers on the grid, definitely able to extract almost everything out of that car. That Ferrari is definitely not the best car on the grid, but for some reason he's able to put it all on the line in qualifying, and I think we could see it again here this time around, out qualifying a Red Bull and putting it P2 on the front row once again, next to my prediction for pole sitter. My prediction for pole position is, of course, it's the Max Verstappen pole position award. I think it would take a probably reliability related issue for Max not to qualify on pole here. We saw it last year where he had a gearbox issue, which saw him qualify 15th. Obviously, he still made his way through the field to finish second in that one, but I don't think we're going to see any reliability issues from the RB20 this year. I think Red Bull has that thing turned down just enough to increase reliability, but still be very, very much clear of the rest of the grid. And until the other cars and the other teams catch up, I think this could be the official change of name already for the qualifying prediction to the Max Verstappen takes pole position prediction. So there are my predictions for qualifying top 3. We are coming down the home stretch, which means it's time for our podium predictions. Last year, we saw a Sergio Perez win, a Max Verstappen P2, and a Fernando Alonso P3 here in Saudi Arabia. I don't think we're going to see exactly that this year, but I do think that we will see a Ferrari on the podium, and I think it will be Carlos Sainz finishing in P3. I think Carlos has shown just an incredible amount of focus to open this season, taking advantage of Charles Leclerc's issues to finish, on the podium in Bahrain. And I think we'll see that momentum carry forward into Saudi Arabia, and we'll see him stand on the podium once again. P2, I have gone for Sergio Perez. Obviously, with Checo starting P3 and that RB20 being the car that it is, unless we see an issue, I don't see him finishing off of the podium. So I think this is really, really straightforward, because you'll be very much unsurprised to know that I predicted a Max Verstappen win. Yes, I know. We'll hear the Dutch national anthem once more, the new and formal F1 outro music for the race day. But I mean, at this point, can you really blame me? And since I'm having a competition with my viewers, I need to wrap up these points when I can get them. Now catch me later in the season when other teams have had a chance to develop and Red Bull has already turned their attention well in advance to the 2025 or 2026 cars at this point. But as of right now, I'm going to lock in these points when they get here. So there it is, my podium of a Max Verstappen win, a Sergio Perez P2, and a Carlos Sainz smooth operator podium here in Saudi Arabia. We've arrived at our final prediction. It's our one crazy prediction, something a little more out there, something that we'd be excited to see, something that would show a good, healthy version of Formula One that would get the fans a little bit excited. And for this one, I've turned to qualifying for my prediction. And my prediction is that I think we'll see 7 different constructors qualify in the top 10. Now, there will need to be some shock exits from this one, but I think we saw in Bahrain a severe lack of reliability issues, and so I may be chefing up something in qualifying in the second round where we might see some reliability issues in qualifying, or we just see some drivers pull out an absolutely banging lap in qualifying. I think we'll see 7 different constructors in qualifying, but what do you think? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. So there we go, guys. The Jeddah Corniche circuit awaits us in Saudi Arabia for round 2 of the F1 season here in 2024. I'm excited to see cars back on track once again. Hopefully we'll get a weekend that's a little more exciting on race day than it was in Bahrain. Though we did see some exciting on-track action in Bahrain, I think the off-track action is really starting to overshadow what we're seeing on-track and during the official sessions. So let's hope for a very fantastic weekend, some exciting racing, and hopefully some exciting action along the way. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever you may feel I deserve. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. I'll see you after the weekend is over. We'll go over what we saw and go over these predictions we just made. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one.